Hello! So we have another assignment for another class called Organizational Behavior, so I'm just going to film this and upload it to this channel. Hopefully it turns out good. So let's just get right into it. So today I'm going to be talking about the shortcuts that we and our brains take when we make snap judgments on others. And I'm going to be tying that back into organizational behavior and how managers can use this in a real world environment. So, shortcuts in how we judge others are essentially the snap judgments that we make when we perceive someone or something new. And there are 4 specific characteristics that play into how we are going to perceive these new things. And we're going to be talking about that today.
For now, let's talk about selective perception. With the way our brains work, any characteristic that makes a person stand out will increase our chances of actually perceiving and comprehending them. With the amount of information our brains experience on a daily basis, it is impossible that we will comprehend everything that we see. Since we only react to certain stimuli, those stimuli will dictate what we assimilate throughout our day. With selective perception, we make snap judgments on things based on factors like our interests or experience, attitudes, etc.
This topic can be tied into organizational behavior very easily with a common example that relates to me as well. And it's when a manager may reprimand a certain employee for doing something bad, but won't reprimand other employees who are doing the same thing. I have a very personal story with this. It's happened recently, not a big deal or anything. So at my job, they let us wear headphones throughout the day. And then this new assistant manager came in and he started telling people to take their headphones out. Not a big deal at first, but I noticed he was only telling certain people to take headphones out and not other people. So he would tell me to take my headphones out sometimes, but people in other departments, I saw them wearing them, and he was even around them and he wouldn't say the same thing to them. So whether we notice it or not, our brains are going to make these conscious decisions based on what we want to see. And we can see this throughout our daily lives.
Next, let's talk about the HaloHorn Effect. This is when we draw a positive or negative impression of a person based on a single characteristic we perceive, with halo obviously representing the positive and horns representing the negative. For example, if we see somebody who is dressed in a fashion that we like, we may then associate them with being nice or intelligent, or like, I don't know, literally any other quote-unquote positive characteristic. On the other hand, if someone was dressed in a, again, quote-unquote trashy way, our brain may perceive them as lousy or rude, or again, any other negative trait.
This is very important for managerial positions to be aware of, as these small traits or these small clues that people may exude should not be the deciding factor when, say, who to hire or who to give a reward or who to give a raise to.
Now we're going to talk about the contrast effect, which is defined as the evaluation of a person's characteristics that is affected by comparisons with other people recently encountered who rank higher or lower on the same characteristics. Basically, our evaluations of people in our lives are not based on one person alone, and other people we have recently interacted with in a positive or negative way will shape how we see the next person.
I, again, have personal relation to this at work. If multiple customers before me were absolute jerks to me, just the worst people in the world, the Karens or the Kevins, the next customer that I may interact with, I may already perceive as being a jerk, and this will play into how I interact with them. I may be unconsciously being rude or standoffish to them. And it's not because of them specifically, it's because of others that came before them.
This last topic is one I know you guys have heard of multiple times, that being stereotypes. Stereotypes are when we judge an individual based on the group of people they belong to, and there are many different stereotypes that relate to things like race or religion. They're often only negative assumptions too, because these generalizations are more likely to be completely wrong when dealing with the individual.
This is overall just a big problem when it comes to basic human nature, and it's difficult to break that tie that our brains make when we perceive these new people. It's very difficult to force ourselves to not tie in certain people with certain groups based on just a few characteristics that they have, whether that be physical or mental. It's not just an unfair way to view people on an organizational behavior level, like for managers and stuff, but just in a life sense as well. As you can see, the 4 specific topics of how we perceive people in these snap judgments are often more negative ways of viewing people than they are positive. People are often more complex than just how they speak or how they dress or what group they may or may not belong to. Managers, when making these snap judgments, must be able to delve deeper into these certain characteristics in order to break into and tap into that true character that may be exuded from their employees. And these deeper dives should be the determining factor into, say, who to give a raise or who to make a leader in a certain department, not the snap judgment. Overall, just be careful and do not let your brain trick you.